Hi, I'm Marna, and this is the Dolls Rescued channel. This is a doll I rescued, well, kind of. I bought used on eBay. I got a really good deal on her, and she did come with no clothing. And so I make the clothing for most of my dolls. And today we're going to make this little outfit. You can use any print at all, but I made it kind of Valentine's-y with the little hearts on the skirt. Lately, I have been very fortunate in finding 18-inch doll clothes patterns, a lot of them uncut. And I don't know if this one is or not. No, this one is cut, but 10 cents. So when you're in thrift stores and they have those tubs of patterns, flip through them. That's where I've been finding the patterns. But this is not what we're using today. What we're going to use today is a piece of a paper bag or piece of paper or anything you can write on, newspaper. This doll still has on her dress from a video we had done before. I'm going to give that a flat area. I'm taking, you know what? I'm taking this off so that I can see well what I'm doing. I made this dress. I have a video where I took little inexpensive eBay dresses. The bow was not on the dress. Little sundresses, they came with hats, and I redid like 16 or 18 of them. And for this one, I took the hat and I put the bow from the hat on the dress, and I made flip-flops to match. I did all sorts of things. Okay, I'm going to pull her hair up out of it, decide how far down I want the top of her dress to come. Now, I'm going to take the blue fabric for the top of her dress, and then we're going to use this heart print for the bottom of her dress. This will be really cute for Valentine's or any day of the year. And then I'm going to use blue lace on the bottom of the skirt with a pink ribbon at the waist. So what we do first is lay our doll down, try to do this straight, and I want the skirt to come to about here on my doll. So for good measure, I am leaving about ½ inch, and I'm going to have a seam allowance that I'll be using. And then what I want to do is pull this up out of the way, find the middle of her neck, and make a mark up and down. And then I lay this back down, and I come down, slide her up, and mark middle. And the reason we're doing that is we're going to do some fold over. Okay, there's the top. And then you mark the shoulders on either side. Now, what I'm doing is I'm doing that real close to her body. But I left extra down here for seam allowance. I will be moving those up. I am stopping just past her, the fabric on the doll's body. Taking it out, a seam allowance past that. And then I'm marking each side. Now this is a thick doll. This is an American Girl doll, but your Pleasant Company dolls are even thicker than your American Girl dolls. What you want to do is bring that out so that when it folds up, that's just over halfway up her body. Always remember that seam allowance. And then you want to take that back up to the seam allowance on the arm on either side and mark it. What we'll do is fold my halfway marks on the doll's body. We're going to fold our pattern in half. We're going to cut above, remember I lined that up right at her shoulder. We're going to cut that above there just a little bit. We're going to come in where I marked the shoulder and then swing out to where we marked the side. All right, and then we're going to look at that and see if we're almost there. We will cut the neck in a minute. Yep, that would do. I would like this a little higher, but I think that will do. Then what we do is we carefully and not too thick, let's see how far over we want that neck. Let's swing that out. I bet we need it larger. Yes, we do. You just work your pattern. Just work your pattern. See, it's a little long on the sides, which will make it thicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that up a little bit, and that's how you make a pattern from scratch. When I get this to where I want it, I am going to cut the shoulder seams on the fold. I'm going to scoop out the neck, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this top so that I can sew them together, turn it inside out, and all of my edges will be finished. Okay, this is what you'll have, 2 pieces of the same cut out for your top. And what we're going to do is fold this in half this direction. And then we're going to cut the back. And what we're doing there is making our back seam so that we can put it on the doll, and it'll look like that. Now, what you want to do is make sure you have right sides together, which I do not. And then we're going to sew each side all the way here and all the way around the neck, back down, all the way. Do not sew the bottom of the front side down. That's where we will turn it inside correct. Okay, it occurred to me I may have said it wrong on how to sew that. You want to sew up your sides so that your 2 ends, your front and back, are not sewn, so that you can take a pin and turn that inside out quickly by grabbing your back side, pushing it through. And because this is a sleeveless dress, you can get through the narrowness of the shoulder by using a pin like you would string elastic or turn other things inside out. And then when you get that, oh, I don't want to pull too hard, kind of got that jammed up. There we go. Then you take, I get these courtesy of the Chinese restaurant. I use them a lot. I do not throw them away. I use them as long as I can before getting another. You want to put this through and push your edges, kind of like I show you how to do finger pressing, where you're stretching that fabric. I'm pushing the stick towards one side as I'm pulling on that other and working it back and forth. And what that does is it stretches that seam just a little bit and makes it more flat. And then if you want to, you can iron that after. It makes a much nicer edge if you do. But you want to go around all your round and your square parts and just work it. Sometimes when you're ironing, it's good to take your push stick over with you. And if you iron slower than faster, which is hard for me, you can get those edges a little better. And if you lift up on your fabric as you iron it, it also helps pull that seam tight. The next thing we're going to do is fold over and sew each side very closely to the edge. We're going to put a seam in there, and then we'll bring it back over here. And what I do is I cut my fabric for the skirt the length, the length that I want the skirt plus seam allowance, and then after I get this sewn, I lay it out pretty much like that next to my fabric, and I cut my fabric 2.5 to 3 times longer across than I want my skirt. And what we're going to do is we're going to gather that up and then sew it inside the skirt. When you're gathering your skirt, it doesn't matter what size you make your running stitch, just in and out, in and out, in and out. But try to make them approximately the same size. That way your gathers come out about the same. And what you want to do is leave just over 1/4 inch at each end so that you can finish that edge and sew those together. What you're going to do is come up this way. I'll show you when we get there, but just leave enough room at either end to finish that off. And then tie off your gathering. Knot that up, a good knot so that it stays. And then what you'll do is fluff this out to make it even throughout. Not so much in the back where you're going to be turning that over. Push that forward a little bit and get this all even. And when you do that, on the front side of your top, you're going to want to pin this a little bit, keeping that gathering straight, and then you'll sew that right on or below your running stitch. Now, if you want to, you can take that running stitch out. A lot of people do. I don't. Okay, so at this point, this is what your dress will look like. Okay, what I'm going to do is push this seam down. Now, some people zigzag this along the seam. You can do that to finish it. I usually don't. What I do is I push this down and I sew that down so that the skirt lays more flat on the doll. Then what I'll do is I'll turn it over. I'll take this little pink ribbon. I wish it were a little more opaque, but it's not. And I'm going to sew that to the waist. And then I'm going to make a little bow and put it up here. I will take the skirt, line it up at the lace, or at the bottom of the skirt, and then the lace. I will start at the lace with the seam, come up 2.5, 3 inches so that you still are able to get this onto your doll. Then I will finish these edges and add a clip or a piece of Velcro to the top for closure. So this is how the little dress turned out. I'm pleased. It was a very quick and easy, make your own pattern kind of dress, and I like those. It's fun for me, and I think she looks cute for Valentine's Day, and it also makes a cute summer dress. Thank you for watching the Dolls Rescued channel. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe.